comments on the public hearing.
Or no?
Yeah, I came in. Just kind of chat about
Stuff.
general conversation kind of thing.
So I had a tennis game, so I went to go watch it. He's never played tennis before.
Oh,
So,
all right.
yeah.
Was there a lot of?
No, there was no that. It was a lot of swinging and a missing. Poor kid. He needs to stick to football.
A lot of what, Brendan?
You know how tennis sounds.
Just messing with you. Just thought I could get that out of you again.
Yeah, you got it.
You gotta wait till YouTube's running. Again.
It probably already is.
Yes, probably. It caught conversation last time before the meeting.
Tiffany? What is it? You said you triple dog dared me.
That was in secrecy.
Yeah, that was really.
Okay.
Yeah, I did. Yeah. Well, it was just a little embarrassing.
Is this good info for us to read later? Not right now.
Yeah, that just came yesterday to legal and myself.
Okay.
And so I just thought I would share with you all.
Thank you. Read
Legal
that.
has yet to review it, he said,
I
so.
haven't read it yet.
Okay.
Get it next Christmas.
Which one?
You didn't hear me.
Which one will get
I
next
heard you. I'm
Christmas?
just trying to.
Yeah, so much stuff here.
Call the meeting to order. Tiffany, please take the roll.
Councilwoman Garvey,
Present.
Councilwoman Markula,
Present.
Councilman Brennan,
Present.
Councilman Harjo.
Present.
Six.
President, let the record reflect we do have a quorum for Tuesday, April 8th, 2025. We'll run down to recognizing persons in the audience. Would somebody like to get up and speak?
Oh, Mayor,
Yes, hang on one second. Yes, ma'am.
I'm gonna throw a monkey wrench in.
Uh-huh.
I would like to request that we have a few-minute executive session with legal. Section 74206 B and F.
Second. Is it the beginning?
At the beginning, I'm sorry. Yep, at the beginning. Correct.
Been motioned and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for the question. Councilwoman Garvey?
Aye.
Councilman Brennan?
All right.
Councilman Workla?
Aye.
Councilman Harjo? Aye. All right. Sorry, folks, I'm gonna kick you out for a second.
We leave?
Or, yeah, let's do that.
So
Do you want us? Hey! Everyone can stay in here. We'll just go into my office.
we could leave. Make it easy.
That's probably easier.
That is.
that would be-
I'm sorry.
At the end, I get it.
Winter time.
Is this you guys?
Um,
You don't even have meeting or staff in there?
yeah, you, yeah. Okay, how about, the tip, probably?
She gave me the,
Sorry, that was totally like,
get out,
that was
get out.
being a boss. Okay.
You did it with a wink, though, at least.
Food bar. Thanks for making my drinks for me.
You're welcome.
I don't like being I'm no so it's like right on the dog. And it tastes just the same, so I'm going to It's mocha, cherry poison. Still English.
Let's go for a walk tomorrow, you and I. Come on. That sounds good. Oh, that's right.
And there's 2 pages.
Did you already say that wasn't Palmer?
Yes.
Yeah, that's fine, I figured out. I think that'll work.
Yeah. 71 in here.
Feels like
Welcome to summer. That's all right. After a couple of everybody will vacate. It'll be cooler.
Did you have to hit start or anything, Kim? Solely? You have to do, oh, it's going?
Yeah.
Thank you. Thanks, Paul. Yeah, you're welcome.
We got money for it.
I had a good 40 minutes with Rebecca.
We have mentioned in there.
Right.
She can't reach it either.
I don't know. Yeah, she struggles also. She's still on her toes. I see she has a.
There's no reason to have understand. There's no reason. There's some issues, but in my group, there's nothing.
Should be no problem.
Conversation with me.
And what yeah, you are right. Okay, let us search for that. I hope I have it in here. This is Marty's, I think.
Yeah, we're Marty's.
No, that's from the water. That's 3 letters. That's the one that from 3 of the council people. So, let's see where else.
We share the same scarlet policy.
I got this 5 weeks ago.
Who did you work?
Dr. Metzner.
Augusta, Oklahoma.
No, this is his, but I'm trying to figure out how to pause it so he can see it. I put it on the blogs. Log out.
And when I got on, when I opened the blog, I got Marty's, I didn't see your chiefs. Don't worry about it. I can call it.
Did you get requested or was it?
Yeah, I'm surprised you didn't yesterday. Not completely, but enough to make the first time I did it. You put them in, stood up, you put one in, because it's off. Sure, it's in us. And you wanted to get it. My back was like 3 weeks. Yeah, like, it was good. And then I wanted to sleep.
They didn't prescribe it. They said that,
God, that makes me never want to go.
was doing fine without it.
Really, really?
Because I could get the, I could go back more than 90 degrees. I can't stand up on it.
I just took a big step. No, just like that elderly spill type thing. But so,
I'll keep looking for it if I find it before we start. I sense for it. You know,
Because it's literally on her intro, on their racing page, daily pay diligence. Of course it is. Right? She doesn't have roll Oh. Scared the crap out of her. She almost didn't have it. Thankfully.
Ready yourself?
Good.
Yeah. In 99 was just like, yeah. They were like, I'm tired, go home. They're like, Carl. His tire light came on.
Yes.
It's Jim.
I'm on the hard copy.
Yeah, this man from work, because he's not on today. I didn't get off till 4. I don't normally get off till 4:30. So we just pulled over here.
I see some of the blind man is spoke to the good.
Hey, that's right.
Okay.
Did you get to that shirt? Third page is
what I'm going to be looking for as much as anything else is being a certified addictions counselor. I learned to read microexpressions. That's how I've learned everybody else. It has allowed me to break even in jackpot a lot of times at the poker table.
okay, next time we go, we're going to do.
I still get caught every now and then. I don't make a living at it. I'm coming to try. But, yeah.
Let's see good. Oh, that's right.
Jenny, give me some lessons. You might have to tell. I will actually do my research. That's enough to be some back. I really got to say the backs. And you've done contracts. The attorney sees it differently because you can see. Right for improvement. Last couple of hours, you know, kind of watch. Last, I was living on that desert. We did the golf course. simply said, facility concession. So we Yes. Because of the city, there's a committee of people who leave the concessionaire to fulfill their terms.
Sure.
Right. Let's check it. Before we try this. And the lawyer does not.
We're aware.
So everything knows about the mechanics of this. This is what the contract says. Mayor says, I know the spirit of each of the trees ready to accept and business. Change the start date. There's a lot of contracts. There's a process. It's transparent, it's open, everybody sees it. Nobody gets triangulated. That's what it uses. It's very frustrating for a guy who's been a contractor in my career. So I have the
They, as soon as they started the meeting, voted from executive session, and all executives voted it, and all in there for their executive session. Yes. Waiting for them to come back, I guess. Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Was that here?
I wasn't invited.
Yeah. I did. Okay, I'll own that. That's fine.
state administrates these programs. Kids in this programs are improving there's a 6-year program with $20
There will be some things to be done. That'll get cited. We need to figure out something exciting. Get that cited out. Yeah. Get that cited out, all that. Yeah. Yeah, really pretty simple. It's just one window in front. A couple cars. Providing wouldn't take much. Plus you're wanting to go really chill.
like one
Food
well, no, it's pretty
Yeah.
Food bar guy. What's your number one seller down there?
It's at this store, the Mango Nada.
The what?
The Mango Nada. Yeah.
What's on it?
It's mango smoothie, chamoy, tahini, kind of a little spicy, a little salty.
What is your first name?
Steven.
You said you look like a Matt, so maybe Steve.
That's my business partner. I won't take offense.
In that case, I could get more.
You what?
I think you're
Yeah, looking at it. It was easier to tell us apart before I cut my hair off.
I would have thought it could be painted, but the merch booth inside it, it's just got the vapor barrier.
Yeah.
Got it, okay. So I want to
Funny how
enclose the top too.
that just must be like the labeled up.
We talked about some of that. Yeah.
Oh, you're staying.
Yeah, Becky's.
Well, the only problem there is just to be able to see out of there. The front and a little bit on the side. No, I believe it could go. Oh yeah, kind of like a little, just enclose the top of it. At least that works.
So the things that they
Yeah, I'll go out there and take some measurements. Yeah, take some measurements. For the board. I know I can talk to, so Kelly out of Jim's. Yeah.
my sight's on something else to bring up, so. Nobody's job. Somebody got me there.
Other times?
I thought I said it. Watch my words. He's worse than I am.
I would venture to say that you are probably it's a reflection. You can put up a reflection. And the challenge always is oftentimes your mirror is forfeit. You only see one facet. Whereas the public, we only see one, we get to see one side of the vision. And there are some things they can't tell us. They're like the choose to tell us.
And if you're paying attention, I don't put it together. Or at least enough of it. It's like Scott says, you don't know how to approach it. So I think that was the whole good job. So, and then we have
I have one to show you.
Pro Rodecker?
They're behind me when
Is it hot in here?
It is hot in here.
I've been talking so hot air travel.
Do you want me to look at it?
I can't.
How's it going?
Is it air?
No,
Cool.
not even remotely.
The video the other day when Becky was trying to adjust the temperature, she was like trying to touch it like, way above her head.
Couldn't see.
It's 75 in here. There you go.
Sure.
It's on cool. I just turned it on.
got it at the tent store.
Really?
What'd you buy that one?
Hunting and
Can't reach the rest of it. Okay.
a Mars. Gotcha.
Here.
Yeah, occasionally I'm still looking at the
It's so funky this was.
XL. I'm like,
You ready?
I left that behind a long time
Yeah,
ago.
I've seen it use that.
It's like,
All right, we'll call the meeting back to order. Just for roll call purposes, Tiff, will you take the roll?
Councilwoman Garvey,
Present.
Councilwoman Workala,
Present.
Councilman Brennan,
Present.
Councilman Harjo,
Present.
Mayor Sykes.
Present. Let the record reflect that we are back in session. So, recognizing persons in the audience. Would anybody like to get up?
Mayor, Council, fellow community leaders, thank you for the opportunity to speak today. I'm here today to respectfully request that the council consider unfreezing the current frozen lieutenant position within the Mountain Home Police Department in light of our chief's upcoming resignation. Under Chief Thompson's leadership, our department has made significant strides in improving morale, strengthening our staff levels, and restoring a sense of direction and pride. His steady hand and thoughtful approach have helped guide us through challenging times and positioned us for continued progress. As we face a transition into new leadership, now is the time to ensure continuity, not uncertainty. Unfreezing the lieutenant position would provide vital support during this critical time. It would allow for a smooth transition, give us the ability to train and prepare the new lieutenant under the guidance of the current chief, and ensure his valuable input is part of the selection process. His knowledge of our personnel, department needs, and community expectations is unmatched, and we would be remiss not to leverage that in this process. If we wait, we risk putting our department and community in a bind. Without this position filled, the responsibility of 2 lieutenants and the numerous duties of the chief currently handles will fall on the shoulders of a single remaining lieutenant. That is not sustainable, and more importantly, it places an unfair burden on that one person while compromising the operational effectiveness and morale we've worked so hard to rebuild. Strong leadership at every level is essential, especially during a period of transition. By unfreezing the lieutenant position now, we give the department the best chance to continue moving forward without interruption. Thank you.
Anybody else? Okay. We're going to run down to the public hearing. Please limit comments to max of 3 minutes. Public hearing establishing a fee for miss and replacing keys for the city golf cart. Would anybody like to come up and speak for or against it? All right. Public hearing closed. Conflict of interest declaration. Has any council member received information pertaining to otherwise had any any contact with any person regarding any items on the city council. Do you have so please set forth nature of contact?
Mayor.
Councilman Harjo?
I had 2 emails, one from Matt Manine, one from Melba Drenning, regarding old business number 2, and I received a phone call from Decker Sanders, but we never synced up regarding old business number 5.
Okay.
Mayor.
Councilwoman Workman?
Same, received an email from Matthew Manning, old business number 2. There's no bias for that. And then number 5 as well for Decker, but weren't able to match up our schedules.
All right. Consent agenda is a really big one, council. All 4 of them. Is there anything on the consent agenda that you want to pull, talk about, get more clarification? If not, is there a motion to approve the consent agenda? Councilman Harjo?
I have one tiny change through interlineation. Nisha Merriman's testimony mentions that they were told that it was legal for people to feed cats outside of their property, and after watching the meeting back, she said illegal, and then speaking with Danelle to confirm that it was relayed to them that it is illegal to feed cats outside of their property.
Okay. Is that in the meetings for the regular city council?
That would be
minutes?
regular city council meeting minutes.
25th. Okay.
Mayor.
Councilwoman Garvey?
Item D.
Mm-hmm.
What's the amendment
Oh,
for GUHO?
Go ahead, Tiff.
might have placed that on your desk right before the meeting. I did not move your packet, unfortunately. GUHO declared the land group as the architect for the railroad project, and they're not. They're just the civil, so they changed it to review.
Oh, okay. Okay. So nothing huge.
No,
Okay.
it's just a name change for clarification.
Mayor,
Councilman Brennan?
make a motion to approve the consent agenda, making the one change in the minutes through interlineation that Councilman Harjo spoke of.
Second.
It's been motioned and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for the question. Councilman Harjo?
Aye.
Councilwoman Workla?
Aye.
Councilman Brennan?
Aye.
Councilwoman Garvey?
Aye.
All right, we're on down to old business action deliberation decision to approve resolution 08 subsection 2025 clarification of golf fees. City staff to seek further clarification regarding the approved resolution. These items were discussed March 25th, 2025. Council?
Mayor,
Councilman Brennan?
a question for Tiffany. When did the season passes go on sale for this year? Roughly, you don't have to give.
Like, so when did you open them up?
Yeah.
January, like sometime after the 1st of January.
Okay. I was confused because I saw a post on social media somewhere that season passes are now for sale. I didn't know if it was they've been for sale or all of a sudden, and that was after our March 25th meeting.
No, okay.
Go ahead.
I know that we allow people to purchase their 2025 passes even at the later part of 2024, because some people buy them as Christmas gifts for people.
Okay.
The city did put a post out once this resolution was somewhat cleaned up from our last meeting, stating the difference of the weekday pass to clarify, to help kind of mitigate what was being
Okay.
the miscommunication from the time before. So.
But they've been for sale since at least January, roughly. Okay, that's all.
Mayor.
That question.
Councilwoman?
I guess I'm confused. It says city staff is seeking further clarification.
Yeah, Mayor.
Okay, I was like
You're
waiting
good.
for the. Why are we talking about this?
Well, I was trying to draft it in a question format, but I figured it was easier just a dialogue. So I guess our biggest thing as staff is the items that were in yellow were the things that were discussed during the March 25th meeting, which were specific to the twilight days, and then the season passes covered league play and tournament play, and then the weekday passes were good through Monday through Friday. We would grant that. However, if you look back to this old one, there's still some contradictory with what's read in your new one. For instance, we labeled the greens fees as weekday as Monday through Friday, and the weekends were Saturday, Sunday. But under greens fees for The military, they were, wrote differently. How were they on there? I think they were defined as Monday through Thursday. So like I said, we just want to make sure we have the cleanest, is this council's intention for greens fees to be Monday through Thursday across the board, and then the weekend is Friday, Saturday, Sunday rates? Or is the greens fees Monday through Friday? I guess that's our biggest thing, and maybe we've confused it a lot because of the multiple conversations, but that's what we're seeking to define tonight, just to make sure that this resolution is clean how you guys want it to be.
Mayor?
Councilwoman Garvey?
I guess I understood, now that I'm thoroughly, I thought the greens fees were Monday through Thursday, and then weekend rates are Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
Okay. That's, as staff, that's how we interpret it to be coming out of the 25th. However, the way this resolution on the 25th was voted on, it was voted that greens fees would recognize it as Monday through Friday on one end and Saturday, Sunday, and holiday. If you look at this one, this is what was approved.
Right.
But then after we got to dialoguing, Paula and I were like, no, the greens fees should be Monday through Thursday, weekday, and Friday, Saturday, Sunday as weekend. And so before we just made that judgment, we wanted to bring it back and make sure that everyone, that is what we wanted.
Yeah, and then Mayor, and
Go
the
ahead.
season passes are Monday through Friday.
Correct.
Yes. Okay.
Yes.
Okay, yes.
Yeah. And that greens fee is throughout all of them, military, senior, all of them. Is that correct?
Mayor.
I believe so.
I think Councilwoman Garvey is correct that the intent during that meeting was that defining the application of Monday through Friday for the season pass for the weekday pass was Monday through Friday, and that the greens fees would on the normal greens fees season passes that would apply Monday through Thursday.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah, thank you. I guess I should pull up my package.
We did remove the punch card portions that, the punch card said they could only be purchased at the course in the past. We're gonna remove that. They could be bought at either location, so.
Mayor?
Councilwoman Garvey?
Is there a reason that we can't do passes there too, if we're gonna offer punch cards?
Isn't the machine here, though?
Yeah, I don't know why you couldn't. Right now, we're printing them on those harder cards, so then we would just need to buy an additional machine out there, which the machine we currently have is outdated, and we are gonna have to shop for a new one. And we use that for our city ID card, identification cards for employees, and multiple solicitor license, multiple other things than just that. But we could look at that if you guys would like us to.
Just makes it easy.
Yeah, it's convenient.
Mayor.
Councilman Harjo?
Tiff, Paula, does that suffice for today? Do you need a motion to accomplish the specifics behind that, or?
Paul, do we need a motion to clean
You
up?
do not.
No.
Thank you.
Okay. You good, council? Okay. Let's run on to old business, action item number 2. Deliberation decision regarding the draft agreement with the Race to Empower LLC to operate the Noble Track and Straight Track at Optimus Park. And
I was gonna say, and authorize the mayor and clerk to sign, but I think it got chopped off.
Okay. So really quick, council, the current one was for the oval track only, and obviously if they're gonna dump that kind of, if the Race to Empower are gonna dump that kind of money into a straight track, we wanna make sure all the i's are dotted, t's are crossed, and that encompasses that as well. I think that's why, and then we had a name change, or it went from LLC to Inc. or something, I don't know. I can't remember. What was the rest of that, Tiff?
Yeah, Mayor, Council, this actually came before you back in November. There was a motion on the table to do a name change and grant him a 10-year extension. They had intentions to adding a straight track at that portion of time. However, after looking into a lease agreement, amending it to adding just a straight track, needed to come back to edit and make a clean draft agreement with you guys. So that's what's happened here today, and granting them a 10-year extension. Cleaning up the exhibits as well. The previous exhibits were kind of messy and hard to read. I think we've added their insurance. I know Councilman Harjo had a question specific to their operational rent. It does say for each scheduled event on the premises. We can amend that if wanted, Councilman, to add like prior notice to the Parks and Rec Department at a specific calendar date, if that helps the group. I can reach out to Eric on what works for them, so.
Mayor.
Councilman Harjo?
In that, we have several of the Race to Empower folks here with us tonight. Could we address them on that portion?
Absolutely. Is Ronnie here?
Eric and Ron.
No,
And
Eric's
Eric?
here. Yeah. No, no, he's here.
He's right behind Chris. Sorry, Ronnie. Gentlemen, how you
Hello,
doing?
evening. As far as that $45 park fee, correct? Per event, is that, so previously when we had our 5-year lease, we paid $5 a year, that was upfront. Is this going to be it says by March 1st that we have to have our schedule to the city clerk's office. Would each year we would pay that?
You could pay it at time of event, I'm sorry.
You're good, Tiff.
You could pay it at time, like day prior to event, if that's needed. You don't have to pay them all up front.
So with that, does that, we still have exclusive
Yes.
to that facility, correct?
Yes. So, just so you gentlemen are aware, most of these lease agreements out at Optimus specifically are ran off of a lease formula based off of hours that you plan to operate on it divided back into the park rental rate. For sake of ease, for you guys, I just said just pay the flat rate for the days you intend to host a race.
Okay.
Because if not, you're trying to figure out if it's 4 hours at 37 cents times, however many days. And so I just thought, for the few races Councilman Harjo shared with me, I thought that'd probably save everybody the headache.
And let's say, and Councilman Harjo put it in a pretty good, let's say you pop a new engine in a car, you want to go to do a couple laps to make sure on Saturday you don't blow, you have exclusive rights to that track anyway, so that you don't have to pay to go do a quick jaunt on your facility.
It would just be your large-scale public events is what we would ask you to pay for.
Okay.
Yeah.
Councilman Brennan.
And also any like formal designated practices if they were to decide to have any. So a one-off to test an engine or something, no, but if you're going to say, let's all get together and practice before the big race, then that counts towards the daily fee.
Okay. And it's something that we would just come down here, it can come down on a Monday leading up to that weekend, is that what?
You can, if it's easier for you to negotiate with Miguel and the Parks and Rec Department, I'm fine with that. Like,
Okay.
if you're calling to give them your race schedule, May 1st or whatever date that comes in, because I know that I said March 1st, but I don't know what day works for you guys.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Yep, no,
Your
that's
race is
fine.
coming. I know how that kind of is. So if it's easier for you to pay directly through them, that's completely fine. You can pay them as well.
Okay.
I'm here to make it easy for you. That was my hope.
Sure. No, that's, that was the only other thing in here. We did switch, from Mountain Home Speedway LLC. I mean, just so everybody's on the same page. I know it was important in the past. The LLC was created because that was easy, it was affordable, and we could get started. Now that we're more established, we did go to a full 501c3 nonprofit organization, right? I mean, that's the ultimate goal here, is to build this and give 100% of this back to the community with this. So I just want to make sure, obviously I have the copy that says Race to Empower Inc. So I just want to make sure that stuff is cleared up.
printed them all hard copies with ink on it after you and I spoke.
Yeah. Is there anything else, Ron?
I guess one thing I would like to see, as it is a big deal that we are a 501c3, if we can get Race to Empower Incorporated 501c3, at least somewhere in here, it would be appreciated.
Things that'll come from this. On exhibit, we have exhibit A in there, which encompasses that whole entire triangle. When we had the land use discussion, we discussed that being written in as the whole facility, right? So we're working, because we are a nonprofit, we are working on grants to fence. So future, right? Say we get a grant approved and we can fence that whole facility. Does that require a come back and rewrite the lease?
No. Not if it's in 10 years.
So this exhibit A is the property we have within to operate and improve in. Okay.
So I can speak, that exhibit in your conditional use permit was kind of messy and you couldn't define the lines. So that was specifically one of the reasons I tried to clean the lines up.
And that's what we were making sure, right? Is this, because we are working on grants right now to fence that whole facility in, right? That just helps manage everything nicer. And, so just making sure that we don't have to go through this process again for every improvement, right?
It'd be nice for us to know all your improvements.
Absolutely, right.
Yeah, we put it on our insurance policy. Councilman Brennan?
I'm trying to seek clarification from Tiffany and maybe Paul, but you asked about coming back. The way I read it, for improvements to the track, you may need to go to like our building department for permits. So a fence would require you to come.
Yep.
And so you still have to follow all the ordinances of the city.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it doesn't require a
To
rewrite,
amendments.
right?
That was his concern.
Okay.
If they were,
That was kind of the spot that was a little bit cloudy a few months ago, was what area were we within? The wording said just the track itself, so it was like that triangle piece kind of had a slot in it that we were allowed to work within. And that's where this was clarifying that, so.
All right, Council.
Mayor?
Councilwoman Garvey?
I will make a motion to approve the deliberation decision regarding the draft agreement with Race to Empower LLC, adding Race to Empower LLC 501c3 incorporated to the language, please.
Second.
It's been motioned and seconded. Any further discussion?
Mayor?
Councilman Brennan?
I do.
Oh, sorry.
I think probably everyone knows this is coming here, and I want to tell you guys I'm fully supportive of this, and I'm excited. But as I said before, there's one part that's going to be a deal breaker for me. So if the council can't get on board with me on this, I'm going to vote against it. Only for that reason, though. But I fully support your project, and that's the third paragraph on page 6, which is that the city can continue to grant approval for any kind of equipment, like heavy equipment, operate the skid steer, the front end loader, the water truck. Like, if this is basically a piece of property that has what's the word I'm looking for? You're the only ones that can use it, right? You can tell everybody else they can't be on it. That you need to operate it with your own equipment, and the liability of the city is tremendous, as Paul's pointed out to us before. If we're using a front end loader and you run somebody over, under the previous group, I saw people riding on the wheel wells of our front end loader, and that just blew my mind. So my request for the council is to not allow under any circumstances the use of our equipment for the operation of the facility.
Mayor?
Councilwoman Garvey?
Are you talking paragraph 9?
No, it's right here, right above 9.
Oh. Mayor? Oh.
Councilwoman?
So, correct me if I'm wrong, we tabled this discussion to come back for further discussion several meetings ago when Ronnie was here the first time. And at this point, I would like to amend my motion. I agree that we should not allow people to use our city equipment. So I will amend my motion to approve this lease agreement, striking really that whole paragraph. Until we can further discuss, we can always add it as an addendum to your guys' agreement. But I think we have not been allowed to have the discussion of really what the impact of how it is for the city if something were to happen. So I would like to amend my motion
Just right there.
Okay, so yeah, just strike the last sentence. So I'll amend my motion one more time, fully, so Tiffany gets it on the record. I will approve the deliberation decision regarding the draft agreement with Race to Empower 501 or Incorporated 501c3 to operate the oval track, striking on page 6 the third paragraph without prior written approval of the mayor or his delegate.
Mayor.
Second.
A motion second. Any further discussion? Councilman Harjo?
So we have an amended motion and 2 seconds across the motions. The use of city equipment is a big topic across all things city. When we discussed this, and it was kind of mixed in with a land use discussion that wasn't really the forum to do so, and I would also argue that this falls outside of the intent of what bringing this agreement back to add the straight track and change the name really is. And with that, it would be detrimental to their operation. One, that the access to city equipment or personnel to, say, move an unsafe 3,500-pound ecology block. The city loader is what has been used in the past to accomplish that. I recognize that previous users have introduced some level of concern. However, this group, they're all very astute heavy equipment operators, first and foremost. But secondly, we don't have a citywide policy on the use of the public using city equipment now. And that extends across a great many things. Our golf carts, for instance, have no such clause in a policy. And I would really refrain from adding this or subtracting this from this contract until we have a better look of all aspects of what the quote-unquote use of city equipment would look like, and create a policy around that. I think those two things, one being a hindrance, and two, we don't have a policy as the city, and so to enforce in one sense where similar operations and recreation throughout the city already use city equipment, and that has nothing to do with the racetrack. These other recreation opportunities use city equipment per their agreements or their rentals now. So again, I would like to include that statement back into the contract with the understanding that we should perhaps create a policy and apply that equally across everybody.
So Paul, really quick, I had a motion and a second for the first motion. Then what do we do now since there's 2 motions and 2 seconds?
I amended my motion.
She amended it, and then
Yeah,
she got a
I just
resecond, so that motion stands.
That one supplants the first.
Okay. Councilwoman Garvey.
Okay, Mayor.
Yep.
I understand 100% what Councilman Harjo is saying. However, there's nothing to say that we can't add it later, but we have not been able to have a discussion of allowing individual people that are not vetted through the city to use our heavy equipment. So I guess the question would be then, if you're talking about, what'd you say, a heavy piece of...
The loader.
What will
Jersey
they need
blocks?
to be moved?
Say we put this fence in, right? Their little Kubota tractors are over there. They got the augers, you know, so as we build that fence, so it would be equipment such as that, right? The little Kubota tractor with an auger on the back of it to put the fence poles. We do bring our own equipment in often, but there is times that a lot of that stuff's sitting over at Optimus Park, and we're asked to, you know, if we can have access to it to put in 10 fence poles tonight, because we can do this after work. It's mostly stuff like that. Yes, moving the ecology blocks around the racetrack, you have to have a piece of heavy equipment to do that. I think back when, like you said, the previous, using equipment for events to move cars and stuff like that, that stuff has pretty much all been handled, right? This is, any time in the past 4 years that we've used city equipment, it has been strictly based on making improvements to the property. It has never been based on making an improvement to the event being held that evening. I don't know if that helps answer that question. I mean, I've even been to the point where I've been asked by the city to go over in an evening when I'm out there at 7 o'clock at night, could you go groom the rodeo arena for us? I personally have been asked that, to go operate city equipment to benefit the rodeo grounds. So where does that fall, right? It's almost like as we were treated, that we were making improvements and we are qualified to operate the equipment, and we do spend extra hours out there in the evening, and since you're out here, would you mind running over and making the rodeo grounds real nice for us? Kind of in that same
Mayor.
thing.
Councilwoman.
Paul, the last time we had this discussion, it was brief, and then we decided we would talk about it later. Where are we at in terms of allowing Eric or Ronnie to use whatever piece of equipment? It doesn't really matter, in my opinion. And they get hurt, or somebody else gets hurt. And are we okay with our own insurance because we have that, or allowing them to use it, and they're using it on their own merit? I guess I would just feel more comfortable if I could.
Well, I would like to hear the answer from ICRIM, but, and no respect, disrespect to you guys whatsoever. I mean this for anybody, whoever said that, never a good idea, like ever.
Mayor.
Because they're not on our insurance, they're not, and somebody, you know, let's say we don't take good enough care of our own. Somebody was saying how they're extremely good at what they do in operating this equipment. Well, what happens if we didn't maintain our equipment very well and there's something wrong with it and there's a hidden defect and then they get hurt? It's just all around, it's not a very good idea.
Sure.
I would imagine ICRIM would say the same thing.
And I use the example, like, I don't even know, maybe it's more farm equipment, but I mean, I personally know somebody that died because they were working on a piece of equipment and because they didn't shut the power down. And so, you know, it's just one of those things that obviously you guys know what you're doing. Ronnie, you operate farm equipment day in and day out. It's your deal. I totally respect that. However, from a city standpoint, you guys are not on our insurance policy. So I would like to say my motion stands.
It's been.
Sorry.
Tiff?
Go ahead, Tiff.
If, Paul,
Yes, ma'am.
are they any different than our COPs that we list on our insurance if we list them as operators? I know we did that in the past for
You
one
could do that.
other. Can we just list them as, like, it
We-
would only be
A
again,
couple
it's,
specific people listed as operators.
We have done that in the past. I
I
brought a
know.
list of names down that it was myself and one or two other people that we would bring a
Then-
list down and we were the only ones allowed
Then
to
you're
operate
creating
that.
them as de facto agents of the city.
correct.
And
Which I
then
did
that's
that
fine.
with Carl on the last one.
Right. Then in that regard, I'm okay if you're gonna.
Mayor?
But then they have some things they gotta execute.
Correct.
You know, and waivers and.
Yes.
give away your firstborn and all that
I
stuff.
don't want that one.
Councilwoman Garvey?
So again, I mean, back to the whole discussion, we have not been able to talk about this, so it's a perfect resolution, or solution, let's do this. I mean, if that is as easy as it is, then let's not discuss it anymore.
Why do you do
and
it that way?
Let's move on.
So
amend-
council, I got a motion and a second. Are you staying on it?
Mayor.
You want to, sorry.
So, Councilman Harjo.
So, Councilwoman Garvey, with your previous statement there, does that mean that you're willing to include this language back into the contract that was motioned out?
Yes, okay, so,
Amended.
Mayor,
Councilwoman Garvey?
why don't you just send me the contract, I'll just retype it real quick? Okay. All right. Yes, I am okay with that. If legal's okay with that, then, as long as you guys, and I strongly believe you guys will not dishonor and let people just use the equipment. Because of your efforts out there, I'm totally okay with that. So, do you want me to should motion just die? Let me make a new one?
Well, why don't we do the call, and then there's been a motion, a second. Well, gosh.
No. I'll just amend my motion.
Okay. Yeah, let's
Okay,
just do
you're
that.
gonna have to bear with me though, because now I'm adding more language. Okay. Mayor, I would like to amend my motion for my deliberation decision. I would like to approve it, the draft agreement with Race to Empower, Inc., 501c3, to operate the oval straight track at Optimus Park, amending my original motion for the third paragraph on page 6 to read that Race to Empower, Inc. will, within specified time, 15 days, get a list to the city of the individuals that will be authorized and need to get on the insurance of the city to operate the equipment. Still with the approval of the mayor. Yes?
Second.
That doesn't sound great, but
I got you.
I-
Designated operators. We got
yes,
it.
got it. Okay.
All right, it's been motioned and seconded. Any further discussion?
That was tough.
Councilman Brennan?
I still don't like it. The reason is, I'm rotating here, right, from 7 years in the past. The thing is where do we draw the line? Is it anybody who has whether it's a lease or a public park daily permit or fee that they pay for it? Does the farmer's market who has an agreement with us, do they get to come and borrow a skid steer for their Saturday event if they get on as a designated operator? Why are we putting hours on our machines, on our heavy equipment, so we can turn it in from lease earlier, sooner, or try to sell it with higher hours? And if we're putting them on our insurance, I don't know how the designated operator thing works, but to me, anything added to an insurance policy increases the price of the policy. And so where do we stop increasing the cost on ourselves at the benefit of a incorporation or an LLC? I'm not going there. I don't think it's in the best interest of the city, because although what you're planned to do will benefit, our citizens through entertainment venue, right? The financial interest is in you and whoever you donate the money to. And I don't know who you say you're going to give it all back to the community, and I don't know what fashion that is, but it's a risk and a price increase. Like, if we're going to put you on a policy, maybe we need to do more than what is it, Tiffany? $45 a day for a track rental. Maybe now it's $60 a day. I don't know. I'm just throwing numbers out there. But I'm just not in agreement with it.
Mayor.
Okay.
Oh.
Councilwoman Orkla?
If I'm hearing right, does it sound like you guys do in-kind work for the city? Like you'll work the ground for rodeos. Is that what I heard?
In the past, I've gone over there just from April to September. We're out there. It's pretty much 7 days a
So
week. And
part of me feels like I see what you're saying, Councilman Brennan, but if you're actually doing in-kind work, I mean, there is some give and take in these relationships, right? And so I want to know, like, how often.
So we have our own road grader now, right? Throughout the years of being able to do this, we have tried to get away from city equipment as much as possible, right?
Mhm.
So we've built and saved, and we buy our own equipment. You know, we can haul the road grader over to where the sand drags do their thing, right, and fix their area for them. Same with the. I know there's a motorcycle rodeo that comes in usually once a year. They come out and rent the rodeo arena. I've gone over and prepped the rodeo arena for them to come in because they're not comfortable running the water truck. You know, that old water truck that's not even street worthy anymore. That in the past I've maintained well, put tires on it. I've taken care of that truck as it's my own. They're not comfortable operating it, but they've rented the rodeo arena and they got to have the water truck. And so I'll go out on a Friday evening and prep the rodeo arena for them.
Do you feel like it's equal between the in-kind work that you offer the city and what the city offers you for the equipment you have that you borrow?
I think that it's, yeah, absolutely.
It's balanced pretty well.
Yeah.
Did you have Councilwoman
I
Garvey?
just have a statement. As far as individuals using city equipment, the city loans their stuff out to a plethora of different events or whatever. I guess my statement more is like, well, citizens, taxpayers paid for this equipment. So, I mean, at the end of the day, we're not really loaning it out. I mean, their taxes contributed to us being able to have this equipment. So, if you kind of look at it from that perspective, they're using it on city-owned property. It's not like they're going out and digging a pool. I mean, oh, sorry, I had to. Was it too soon?
We're only, 3 years past it now?
Sorry. That one was bad.
She's not done with her statement. She got to beat me up a little bit more. Hang on a second.
That was it.
Okay.
Really, that was it.
Councilman
City
Brennan?
taxes
Hang on.
paid for that. So,
I'm done. I've made my point.
Okay. Tiff.
I feel bad saying this now, Brennan, that you gave up on me, but
I don't give up. I know where I stand amongst this group. Like, let's give our shit away.
Mayor, Council, I would like to say that in defense of Councilman Brennan, you're right. Years ago, it was ran a little crazy, but I believe we have vetted some really good operators out at those motor event facilities, and we've really reduced the amount of city equipment used on those sites, and the equipment that is used to improve city property, which I think is valid, right? And so I can't help it. You know where I stood years ago, right? They now pay fair lease agreement amounts, and they're paying their fair share of equipment, doing the right work to city property that's owned by us.
So, Council, I've got a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Councilman Brennan?
No.
I apologize for my language there, but I shouldn't have said that. So I hope you'll accept that. I went too far with that. I get the arguments on both sides. It's just nothing I'm gonna, as a representative of the taxpayer, like I'm not gonna do that. Otherwise, I'm building a house here in a couple months, right? And I'm gonna ask you to borrow a front end loader. I hope you guys all approve on that.
yours is in the county, though.
County, yeah.
Yeah, you're county. Sorry, you're out.
Mayor,
All right, Councilwoman.
add his name onto that insurance.
Yeah. All right, it's been motioned and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for the question. Councilwoman Workla.
Aye.
Councilwoman Garvey.
Aye.
Councilwoman Harjo. Councilman Harjo. Sorry, Councilman Harjo.
Knows something about me that I don't.
That's fair.
That's a first.
Sorry, Councilman.
Aye.
Councilman Brennan.
I'm glad you guys are coming. I want you to be here. Just under that one thing, you know why. I'm voting no on this one.
All right. All right, action item number 3.
I'll clean up and get it to you. Okay, yeah, thanks guys.
Thank you, guys.
Have a good night.
Deliberation decision regarding the cooperative agreement between Elmore County and the city regarding an animal control center authorize the mayor and city clerk and the police chief to sign.
Mayor?
And Councilwoman Garvey?
I read over the one that the Chief Thompson sent over. The only change that I would request is 5A. It still doesn't allow for any designated spaces for county dogs to be brought in. It just says that the county agrees that the housing of county dogs is on space available basis only.
Mayor.
And that, oh, sorry. No, you're fine.
Councilman Harjo?
Mayor, Councilwoman Garvey, are you done? I didn't mean to cut you off there.
You're fine.
Okay. I did have a discussion, very brief, with Danelle about her edits in what was supplied here by Chief Thompson. In that brief discussion, Danelle identified that while it's not expressly stated that there's, an allocation of a certain number of dogs or a certain number of kennels, that through their operation that they can manage that very well, and they've rarely ever bumped into an issue where there was a capacity issue in that sense. They are also the foremost authorities of all of us to make that decision. I'm very much in favor of Danelle's edits here, and only have one request that I briefly discussed with Chief Thompson by email on the phone is citing some sort of billing and invoice cycle, just inserting the business end into the contract and kind of reflecting some of the verbiage from other things that perhaps that's best suited at a quarterly rate, or quarterly cadence, I should say.
Mayor?
Councilwoman Garvey?
Yeah, we had agreed to that change, yes, definitely. I guess if there becomes a problem, I just want to get this done.
Agreed.
Let's get this signed so that we can move on to the really big problems that we have. I guess that we'll see if the sheriff's department will sign that. So.
All right. So what do we got, Council?
Mayor.
Councilman Harjo.
I'll make a motion to approve the cooperative agreement between Elmore County and the City of Mountain Home regarding provisional animal control center services and adding through interlineation stipulation for quarterly billing cycle.
Motion, to have a second?
Second.
Been motioned and seconded. Any further discussion?
Mayor,
Councilman Brennan?
can we clarify also, or just reduce through, clarify through reducing section 5B? Chief, do you have the paperwork in front of you? I'll read it out loud if you don't mind. B says, during normal operating hours, Monday through Friday, 8 to 5, ECSO deputies will provide pickup and transportation services. Could we just eliminate the whole during normal operating hours and just start the sentence with ECSO will provide pickup and transportation services of dogs to the MHCC? That way it's 24 hours a day.
I would prefer that. Part of the reason that language was submitted was to clarify what normal operating hours were that not in the prior applications. So I'd like something in the header that would say what the normal operating hours are.
You want the operating hours, but 24 hours a day they should still transport dogs, right? Okay. Does it say it anywhere else where the operating hours are?
No.
Mayor.
Councilman Harjo?
Section 5, B and C were kind of laid out with the definition, with the mindset of providing definition for during normal operating hours, these are the times and this is the mechanism, and then C, during non-operating hours, here are the times and here's the mechanism. That was kind of the intent of that language, according to Donnell. So, I don't disagree with just making it a flat 24 hours. I think this accomplishes the same thing, it's just slightly more wordy.
Can you add the operations and recitals at the very beginning?
Yeah, I think that's where they were, Mayor.
Councilwoman Garvey?
Let me find my original copy. Oh, no, okay.
It's not in the original.
No, it's not my original. Mayor,
Go ahead, Ms.
I'm going back to my original. It was. I think the original language, if there's a stray animal picked up after hours, Monday through Friday, 4:30 p.m. to 8 a.m., or holidays, the county will call the supervisor on duty. I think that's probably the best language. I mean, it accomplishes the same thing. It has the hours. We all know that the sheriff's department's going to bring their dogs in. They're not going to call. So if we go back to the original from my original agreement. Yeah, I mean, it
Mayor.
says the same thing.
Councilman Harjo?
Councilwoman Garvey, like, standing back from that, I think it's kind of 6 of one, half a dozen of the other.
Yeah, I mean-
It accomplishes the same thing.
It's just wording.
Just for today's purpose of moving this forward, I would like to see that language just stay as printed.
Councilman Brad? Sorry.
Council members, on sub B, can we just make 2 sentences out of it? Normal operating hours are Monday through Friday, 8 to 5, period. And then, new sentence, ECSO will provide pickup and transportation services of dogs to the Mountain Home Animal Control Center.
Easy. Council, you good with that?
Yes.
Councilman Harjo?
Yes.
Councilwoman Northwell? Councilwoman Garvey? Okay. Easy fix.
And Mayor?
Council?
I've gotten a little lost in the initial conversation about A. What did we decide to change that to?
Mayor,
Or if there was?
Councilwoman Garvey?
we didn't.
We did not.
Councilman Harjo asked to leave it that way.
Mayor?
Councilman Brennan?
Can you reattack that, Councilman Harjo?
Councilman Harjo?
Yes, Mayor, Council, the statement, the county agrees that the housing of county dogs is on a space available basis only. The Mountain Home Animal Control Center supervisor or designee shall determine the availability of space. Again, when I talked to Danelle about that, this provides the most flexibility for those in operation of the facility. Rarely, if ever, have they been at a maximum capacity where they could take neither city or county animals. And the thought behind this kind of simplified language is that not only would it eliminate the instance of if there are a maximum capacity number of county dogs in place and then there's no room for city dogs, or vice versa if there were a big influx of city dogs, say through like a fireworks event or something like that, and a bunch of dogs get out at the same time and they're all within the city, that if there were expressly reserved kennels in a number, that the fear is that they wouldn't be able to service our service area. And thusly, we have policies in place in the operation of animal control now that gives them the mechanism and operating power to find those owners, deal with the strays after the given number of days by our ordinance and that kind of stuff. So this language represents the most easily, I guess, pivot-worthy operation for them.
Yeah.
Councilman Brennan?
I understand the maximum flexibility, right? But is there a designated number of spaces available for there to be space available? Are they holding back one or two that are empty, declining a county dog because there's only one or two left for a potential city dog to come into?
Mayor,
Councilman Harjo?
I don't pretend to know the answer to that and what Danelle and her staff and how they would operate. I would defer to them on that. However, in practical application, I think it would probably fall to first come, first served, quite frankly. That would be my interpretation of that, as being somebody who does not run that facility.
Chief, you concur with that? First come, first serve?
That is Danelle's best workaround for this. She knows that's the best option. She and I have gone round and round about this, but I respectfully disagree with that. I will defer to her opinion.
Yeah.
Councilman Brennan?
If it's truly first come, first serve, I'm supportive of it. As long as we're not holding back and denying when there is a kennel or two available, then if that's the way we'll operate, then I'll support that.
Okay, council. What do you want to do?
There's been a motion in it.
Oh, has there been a motion?
Mayor.
Oh, man, I'm out of it. Councilman Harjo?
I will amend my motion and make through interlineation that section 5, subsection B is broken into 2 sentences with a period after 5 p.m. and breaking out ECSO into and further into its own sentence.
Second.
It's been motioned and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none.
Mayor.
Oh, Councilman Brennan?
Was there something else about billing?
Yes.
Oh.
I apologize. I'm going to amend my amended motion and re-include adding a passage for the business and a billing cadence of quarterly.
Second.
Second.
Motion and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for the question. Councilman Brennan?
Aye.
Councilwoman Garvey?
Aye.
Councilman Harjo?
Aye.
Councilwoman Workla?
Aye.
Awesome. All right, run down to deliberation decision regarding the police chief's resignation letter and effective date. Councilwoman Workla?
Yeah, so council received chief's resignation letter on April 1st. It was dated March 14th. We've had a council meeting since then. I just want the mayor to tell us the plan moving forward.
Ooh, the plan? Well, Chief and I are working on that plan currently. We've got it out to the ethos. He's got what's ICRIMP? No, ICOPA, and who else? Post. So that's what we're doing. We're gonna try to figure that out. That's what we're doing. Right, Chief? Okay. Oh, let's see here. You want to run down to the next one?
Yeah.
Action on deliberation decision on golf course concessionaire contract and pay schedule.
Okay, Mayor, this is a question for you.
Uh-huh.
So the concessionaire came in on the 30th of January to make a payment for February 1st per his contract. You said you don't have to pay until April 1st. Don't you think that's something you should have ran by council for discussion before making that call?
So, I am going to, how do I say this? I will defer my answer in executive session, as that's where I was told that, well, I can't say what was in executive session. So, well, here moving forward, I think Jared has made his payment, right, Tiff? So, for April. So, that's what I'm going to say.
Okay, but I'm not done.
Okay.
Okay, there's a contract out there. The contract states that payment will be made February 1st. If it's up to the council to hold the purse strings and the council to approve of the contract, I think that's something you should have brought to council for discussion. Especially since the concessionaire the effort of following the contract and coming in with a payment per your email on 30th January. That's $3,200 for 2 months of rent and utilities. That was money planned to be put in the budget. We know that there's a lot of, and I heard beautiful things that have happened out there, but again, electricity was being used, probably not gas. But I have a feeling where this is going to go after our discussion on Thursday. But he had 2 months off, December, most of December and all of January. He was willing to make the payment per the contract. The contract is established per a legal binding reason. So I'm going to make a motion to have golf course concessionaire pay per contract for February, March rent plus utilities per contract.
There's been a motion. Do I hear a second?
Mayor.
Councilman Brennan?
As I did before, and in no disrespectful way at all, is I'm going to disagree with that. Because I think the city decided while the building was vacant to continue with some reconstruction or construction projects, a facelift, so to speak, of the building. When we talk about electricity, I don't think the new contractor was using any or very little of it while we were doing the remodel and renovation. And since he wasn't in business either because of the construction, we weren't subsidizing, him making money on the back of the citizens. I guess reserving the argument over whether it's a contract negotiation or contract alteration for payment, maybe that's something that could come before the council for a quick decision. But in the end, I think the city made the right decision to not force payment when he's not in operation, and he's not in operation not entirely but largely because of our own actions.
Mayor.
Councilwoman Workla.
So to my understanding, the only thing that we agreed to pay on for the city, for the taxpayers to pay for, was for the floor, right? But what delayed the operations of the business was popcorn ceiling needed to be removed. However, there wasn't asbestos. There was the determination said there wasn't asbestos. So is he responsible just for the popcorn ceiling within the kitchen, or did that need to carry all the way out even into TJ's area, right? The entire ceiling of the facility. To me, that, like I mentioned last Thursday, that was my biggest red flag on why it would probably be held up. The other ones you can still operate if a liquor license was being delayed, or there are other reasons that you gave. But again, nothing against the concessionaire. I actually give him kudos for trying to pay per contract. I think it was wrong on you to make that decision on the behalf of City Council and the taxpayers' money. Again, I guess there's a motion. I don't know if anyone else wants to second that, but.
There's a motion.
Mayor.
Councilwoman Garvey.
I won't belabor the issue any further. I think I made my stance pretty clear on Thursday. For the improvements that we have received and everything he's done, I think that in the grand scheme of things, the $3,200 is nothing compared to. I mean, this guy has busted his butt for months, and has had setbacks and persevered, and now we have, thankfully, Birdie's is open again, and I think the city, if he left operation tomorrow, we would be in better shape than we were 6 months ago.
So, Councilman Brennan.
Tiffany, didn't you also mention to me that he's paid over $4,000 for new doors in the facility?
Mayor.
Go ahead, Tiff.
Mayor, Council, yeah, Jared has paid for all the Naughty Alder doors, and then the bathroom upgrades, because a lot of the partitions were already falling off the wall, and so to match that, he has invested his personal dollars into that.
Mayor.
Councilwoman Workla.
I made such a stink last year about not having the taxpayers subsidize a personal business. I understand the golf course is looked at as an amenity, just like the parks within the community. However, it's a personal business that is being ran on city property, and taxpayers should not subsidize a personal business. Again, I use this as an example. When I had my own business years ago, I had to pay, I told you the fee started at $3,200, the rent mower fee went up to $3,700. On the date that I had to start paying, per the contract that I signed, a legal binding document, I knew even if not renovations, because we were tearing down walls, doing roofs and ceilings and paint and everything as well, I knew if it wasn't done by that certain date, I still was obligated, financially obligated to pay that. And if I wanted to put any extras, because I frosted the windows for privacy to make it really beautiful, that was my choice to make it a little extra, or go with the more expensive doors, or go with something more expensive. That wasn't a requirement of a contract. So again, I'm waiting to see if this motion's going to die, which I think it's going to. I'll have another motion.
So there's a motion. Do I hear a second? Dies for lack of second.
Okay, so
Councilwoman
Mayor,
Workla.
thank you. So I would like to make a motion to pay for at least the utilities for February and March per contract.
Go ahead, Tiff. And I think that one's quarterly. He pays that one quarterly, but go ahead, Tiff. Sorry.
Except for those months.
I have nothing to say.
Okay. So there's a motion for him to pay his quarterly bill for February and March, right?
Really?
Councilwoman?
Utilities.
Utilities, sorry.
Do I have a second? Dies for lack of second. Okay. We're gonna run down to new business.
Mayor,
Councilwoman Garvey?
do we need to make a motion? Do we need to make a motion for anything? We didn't really decide on anything, but we're not gonna charge him, so do we need to make that motion?
No.
Okay, so we're good. All right, thank you.
All right, run down to new business, items removed from the consent agenda. Action, there was none. So action item 2, deliberation decision approving resolution 09-2025R, establishing fee for missing or replacement of golf carts.
Mayor,
Councilman Brennan.
make a motion to approve resolution 09-2025R, establishing a fee for missing or replacement keys for city golf carts.
Second?
It's been motioned and seconded. I'll call for the question. Or sorry, any further discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for the question. Councilwoman Garvey.
Aye.
Councilman Brennan.
Aye.
Councilwoman Workla.
Councilman Workla.
Oh, Jesus, I'm sorry. Councilwoman Workla.
Aye.
And Councilman Harjo.
Aye.
Tiff, please read.
I don't have to read.
Oh, all right. Sorry, you got me discombobulated. All right, we're gonna run down to new business action item number 3, deliberation decision regarding Mountain Home High School Stevenson's elementary letter of support.
Mayor?
Councilman Harjo.
Through discussion with members of the school board and the school board superintendent, it had come to my attention, and then there was followed by an email from James Gilbert, superintendent of schools, discussing the fact that through congressional funding and the planned earmarks, that in all likelihood that request for the additional funds to Mountain Home School District to cover the remaining amount of the 20% match from the PSMI grant, that likely they will have to supply new letters of recommendation and support. So their ask is that we supply essentially the same language with an updated date. And thusly,
The motion?
I will make a motion to approve action item number 3, deliberation decision regarding Mountain Home School District Stevenson Elementary Letter of Support 2026.
Second.
It's been motioned and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for the question. Councilman Harjo?
Aye.
Councilwoman Workla?
Aye.
Councilman Brennan?
Aye.
Councilwoman Garvey?
Aye.
All right. Council, final comments. All right. Mike, oh, go ahead, Councilman Harjo.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
You're good.
Councilman Brennan, I definitely recognize the sentiment of equipment use. There are, as I was racking my brain through all the various uses of city equipment throughout the city, I think there's some merit to the concept of developing a policy around some of these. For instance, the food distribution may utilize a forklift or something to move large pallets of food, and that directly benefits our citizens. The reference that I made to the use of golf carts, we lack an official policy on what happens if somebody destroys one. I would like to start working on that policy, and if you wouldn't mind, I know that you're kind of passionate about this one, that if we could team up and kind of tackle this one and present when it's ready.
Sure. All right. And then, council, the only thing I got is the LT position. Some words that didn't even think about it, which makes sense. So is that something you guys would entertain to open that up sooner rather than later? And if that's the case, is that something that we could do a special quick meeting, like boom, boom, we open up? If not, then I'm here to ask.
Mayor.
Councilwoman Worklow.
Yes, absolutely. I want to open up that lieutenant position. We put a hold on that lieutenant position, at least this was from my perspective, was because we were waiting on the police chief and you to figure out what is our alternate plan to come up with a dispatch center, right? But because of the efforts of Councilwoman Garvey and Councilman Harjo working so hard on this animal MOU and trying to get it quickly over to the county, because the county said that is one of the things that's holding up potentially for going back on to that dispatch agreement per that meeting that we had with them. Dispatch contract. I don't think there's any reason now to hold up that lieutenant position, especially with chief resigning, and I understand that the manpower needs to be there for leadership. So I would like to get that back on the agenda, or however you want to approach that, so we can to open it back up.
Mayor.
Councilwoman Harjo.
I would entertain that as discussion, yes.
Councilwoman Garvey.
I say sooner than later. I expressed my sentiment to the police chief. I was not in support of that decision. I was not there that night. I think if we can all, one of us, maybe Scott and I, could be as Scott always says, what do you always say, the person in the room or whatever. I just think we need to just expedite that, because it's only going to get tougher on these guys without the chief doing the rest of the work right now. So.
Okay. Other than that, meeting adjourned.
Thank you.